Good morning. Today is Sunday, the 28th day of Iyar, and last night we counted 43 days of the Sfiras HaOmer. We started the first day of the last week of the Omer, getting ready for the holiday of Shavuot. So we begin today, chapter 52 in the Tanya, but of course, as we always do on Sundays, we go back to also the Shabbos lesson, what we learned yesterday. So yesterday we finished chapter 51. The Alter Rebbe talks about the three stages of the neshama coming to the body. And this the Alter Rebbe brings in order to explain to us that just like there is the soul and the body, the same thing is Hashem, God, and the worlds. You know, the question that he asked in the beginning of the first previous chapter is, what does it mean that there is God's revelation in a certain place more than in another place? Isn't God everywhere? God is everywhere. So he used the analogy of the soul animating the body. There we said there is three stages. There is the stage number one is the soul, the essence of the soul itself. The essence of the soul is indivisible, cannot be defined in any way. And that part of the soul, the essence of the soul, is equally in the brain and in the foot. Every part of the person is equally alive. But then there is the third stage is when it goes. Each individual organ receives its unique, special energy from the soul. And in the middle stage is the general potential powers that comes and it sits in the brain. And from there, this is the potential power that comes from the soul. And obviously there is a very vast separation from the essence of the soul, which is totally beyond limitations, to the point that it becomes, in a way, like the energy of the soul of the essence of the soul comes into the brain, and from the brain, the function of the brain is to give to each individual organ according to its needs: the eyes to see, the mouth to speak, and so on and so forth. And this was also the other function of the brain, of course, is also the intellect. The chachma, the bina, das, the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. So that comes first from the soul. First is in the brain. And the revelation of the soul is in the brain. In the brain, the soul becomes revealed. And there, when we're talking about the energy that comes from the soul, not the soul itself, but the energy that emerges from the soul, there you can say that there are differences in the brain. There is more than in the foot, and so on. And this, the Alter Rebbe is going to explain that the same thing is also when we're talking about Hashem. God's essence of Hashem is beyond limitations, beyond division. It's above everything. And then Hashem comes and goes into the third stage, which is giving to each creature according to its needs. And we're talking about creatures, not just creatures in this world. We're talking about the spiritual world as well. Because God is equally, the essence of Hashem is equally concealed from the highest world, just like from the lowest world. Because when you're talking about ultimate infinity, then nothing, a one and a billion is the same. If you're going to ask the question for Bill Gates, for Bill Gates to give out $1, does it mean anything? Does $1 have any value to Bill Gates? You say, no, Bill Gates is a billionaire, multi-billions, so $1 doesn't really affect him anyway. But the truth is that $1 has a value of $1. Because if $1 doesn't have a value, then $50 billion also doesn't have a value. 50 billions times zero is still zero. But if you're talking about a person, let's say a potential hypothetical think that the person that has endless amount of money. So for him to go out and throw away $1 or throwing away $1 billion is exactly the same if he's really unlimited. So when we're talking about the energy light of Hashem, the lowest world, the physical world, God, the essence of God is concealed from there. And in the most highest spiritual world, God is concealed as well. So let's look inside. We're going to start with yesterday's shir, the class of Shabbos, which was the 27th day of Iyar. Let's look inside. Says the Alter Rebbe, וכל כך עוצמו וגוברו הלבושים, אשר אין סוף ברוך הוא מלביש ומסתר במחייס והאויר והחיוס. The garments wherein the blessed Ein Sof invests and conceals the light and vitality are so strong and powerful. In other words, to come from the very essence, the infinite light of Hashem, to come to create such a low world, it needs to went through this concealment, contractions, and it's like this a limited light, and the light itself that is limited comes also in garments, just like the sun will come and you put in curtains and another curtain and another curtain, but in different ways, and ultimately until it becomes the creation of such a physical material world. Thereby, with this life force and light, he created this world that is verily corporal and physical. And God creates and animates it by the vitality and light which he draws down and shines forth onto it. But this is a concealed light, a contracted light. This illumination is a light that is clothed, hidden, and concealed within the numerous and powerful garments, which conceal, they hide and conceal the light and vitality. The goal is concealed so much to the point so that no light of vitality whatsoever is visibly revealed. But only corporal and physical things that appear lifeless. But despite the fact that they appear lifeless, so as we said before, just like in the physical body, the soul is concealed from the body, it's beyond, it's above it, but in the same time, the soul is in every part of the body. Same thing is also with Hashem. Hashem's energy is it's concealed from it. We don't see the godliness, but it's still in every part of it. Yet they contain the light and vitality which constantly creates them ex nihilo, something from nothing. That they shall not revert to nothing and naught as they had been prior to their creation. Because when Hashem creates something from nothing, a creation, something from nothing, needs to be constantly created. Because as soon as the creator removes itself from its creation, the creation is gone. Now this light comes from the blessed Ein Sof, except that it is clothed in many garments. As it is written in the Eitz Chaim, which comes from the Arizal. It says that the light and vitality of the physical orb and earth, of the earth, which is seen by mortal eyes, is derived from Malchus of Asiyah. So this we explained, of course, is the four worlds, Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, Asiyah. Each world has more and more contraction, concealment of godliness. Now, in each world has the 10 attributes, from Chachma till Malchus. Malchus is the lowest. And within each one of the 10, there is also 10. So this world comes from the lowest of the lowest, Malchus of the lowest world of Asiya. However, within each level, within each attribute, it has the origin of it, what it comes from the higher world, all the way till the very top. So he says, Malchus Yitzira, and in it contains Malchus of the next highest world, the world of Yetzirah. And so on. So that in all of them, within the level of Malchus of all worlds, including the levels of Malchus of Asiyah, are contained the 10 spheres of the loftiest world, the world of Atzilus, which are united with their emanator, the blessed Ein Sof. This is the world of Atzilus. Atzilus means the emanation, it emanates from Hashem. The world of Atzilus is one with Hashem. So within the lowest level, it contains the higher and the higher, all the way till the top of Atzilus, the world of Atzilus. Continues the Alter Rebbe now. In the next, that was the end of chapter 51, and we're going to continue to today's lesson, chapter 52. Continues the Alter Rebbe. וכמוי שבנשמת האדם גילוי כלולוס החייס ובמוחין. So that's what Alter Rebbe goes on to explain now. So until now we explained the first stage, the essence of the soul, and the third stage, the stage where all of the energy of Hashem comes into each individual. And we said that there is the middle stage, where there is the brain that contains the entire life, the entire energy in potential, that has in potential already the different levels and from this it emanates from their potential to each and every organ. This is within the brain. There is the potential power and energy that comes, that is already has pre-designed or has a potential of the design for each organ that it needs. And the same thing is also in when we're talking about Hashem, God, the essence of God is above and beyond. And we spoke about the individual levels that each world receives all the way till this physical world. And now we're talking about where is the place, the level that all of this essential God comes in a form that becomes a potential to give to each individual worlds and creatures. And that is going to explains it, that this is what is called the Shekhinah. And this is the place where it is called the spiritual brain, the intellect. And this is called the Matronisse, the queen. And it is called the mother, the lower mother, as we'll soon explain. Continues the Alter Rebbe in chapter 52. And just like just like by the neshama of a person, just as in the human soul, the principal manifestation of the undiffused vitality is in the brain. It says, while all the organs, they receive merely a light and potency which radiates to them from the source of the manifestation of the said vitality in the brain. It comes to the brain, and from the brain, it comes to the rest of the organs. Says the Alter Rebbe, Kocha mamesh al derech mashu. So indeed, exactly, figuratively speaking, Ika gilui klolus amshochas achayus lehachayus ha'olam v'abruim shebahem umelubesh v'nichlal birtzoyno v'chochmasoi u'binasoi v'daito yizbarech anikroim b'shem meichim. He says, exactly so, he says, figuratively speaking, is the essential manifestation of the general stream of vitality, animating the worlds and the creatures therein, is clothed and contained in his blessed will, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, which are called the intelligence, the moichim. Now, where is it? What is it? Here's the Alter Rebbe. Here's the punchline. Ve'hein heim amelubashim ba'Torah u'mitzvah. And these, the will, Chachma, Bina, and Da'as, they are clothed in the Torah and its mitzvahs. So the will of Hashem, the knowledge of Hashem, understanding and everything this is in the Torah and the mitzvahs. God put his will, put his understanding. So the Torah and the mitzvahs, this is the brain, this is the intelligence of the world, and the world is derived and receives its energy through the Torah. You see, this explains why in the Kodesh HaKadosh, in the Holy of Holies, as we said in the previous chapter, this is the Shechina. Hashem's presence is there. And what did we have in the Holy of Holies? We had the Aron, the Holy Ark, that contains the luchos, the tablets that God gave, the Torah and mitzvahs, that includes, everything is included in that. That is because the Torah and mitzvahs is Hashem's will, Hashem's wisdom, and understanding, and knowledge. And from there it is derived everything in this world, from the Torah, through the Torah. Continues the Alter Rebbe, V'gili klolus hamshachazu. Now the manifestation of this general flow, this is the source of vitality which the world receives, each one in a particular receiving. Receiving but a diffuse glow that shines forth from this source. That from this source, the brain, so to speak, of Hashem, there's a glow, that individual glow that shines and comes forth from there to animate this individual creature. In a similar manner to the light that radiates from the sun, by way of example, where the rays are but a diffused glimmer of the sun's essence. It's not the sun itself comes, it is the glimmer from the sun that shines into all individual creatures. Or, as the faculties of the organs of the body derive from the brain, as discussed above in the previous chapter that we just explained. Now says the Alter Rebbe, this source of the energy of the world, he gives it 4 names. He calls it the Alma de Isgalia, the revealed world. He calls it Matronisse, the queen. He calls it Ima Tatoe, the lower mother, the nether mother. And he calls it Shechina, the divine presence that dwells. And he's going to explain these 4 terms. Says the Alter Rebbe, and this source, and Huaniko Alma de Isgalia, and it is this source which is called in the Kabbalah the world of manifestation, because the world above it, before this level, it's called Alma de Iskasia, the concealed world. In this place, in the level of which is, say, this is the Malchus of Atzilus. This is where the world, the energy becomes revealed, manifested. That's what it's called, Alma Dizgalia. And it's called also Matronisa. It is called the Matronisa, the queen. And it's called Ima Tata. It is also called the nether mother, the lower level of mother. And it's called also the Shechina Meloshem V'Shechanti B'Seichem. It is called the Shechina from the scriptural phrase, and I will dwell amongst them. So what are these four names? Why is these four names? So like we said, Alma Deizgalia, the revealed world, we understand that this is where Hashem is revealed in energy. Before this is concealed, it's beyond and above. It is called the Matronissa, the queen. Why? Because a queen, the purpose of the queen, what the queen does, is revealing, and it is sort of like the bridge between the king and the people. Like the Torah says about King Saul, for example, he's above and beyond, is aloof from the shoulder top and over and top of the people, higher than the people. It wasn't just physically, it was that also spiritually, intellectually, the king was in a higher level. And the queen is the one that relates the king to the people, connects the king to the people. So the same thing, this level of godliness that comes in a form that becomes a source to the individual energy that we get, that is the term of the queen. And it is also termed as the lower mother. What is the lower mother? We have the higher mother, it's called Avaim, which refers to the father and the mother, is Chachma and Bina, the wisdom and understanding. Explained in the previous chapters. The wisdom is the spark of knowledge. Understanding is once you take the point of wisdom and you develop it, and that is also the function of a father and a mother. The drop comes from the father, the mother develops it in the womb, and then a child is born. The same thing, the Bina, the understanding, the emotions are born from the Bina. That is the emotions. Then you have the lower mother that brings this Malchus, the kingdom. This is the lower mother because this brings about not just emotion, it brings about the creation of a new being. That is why this is called the Bina, the Malchus is called the Ima Tata. And it's called also Shechina. When we refer to this level of godliness, it's called Shechina. That Shechina means dwelling. That is, godliness, the way it's already dwelling here in this world, becomes a potential to dwell in this world. So this is four terms in terms of the way this energy comes into this world. Continues the Alter Rebbe. When he says, Al Shem Shemoker Zeu Reishis is Galus Ein Sof. Now he says, why is it called Alma Deizgalia? The above mentioned, so it's called world of manifestation. For this source is the beginning of the revelation of the Ein Sof. And this is called the queen because in this level, which extends to and illumines the world in a revealed manner, because the king is above. And from this source, there extends to each individual thing, a world, a creature, the particular light and vitality that is suitable for it. And now it's called Shechina also. Why? And this light dwells. Shechina means dwelling. It dwells and clothed in them, in the world and the respective creatures, thereby animating them. Now says the Alter Rebbe, in addition to these four terms that we said that they're called, these four terms, there are also two terms that are called as the function of the Shechina as the source of the neshamas, of the souls of the Jewish people. And that is called the Eim Abanim, the mother of the sons, and it's called the Knesset Israel, the source, the community of Israel. Therefore, it is figuratively called the mother of the children, meaning the Jewish souls, and is also called Knesset Israel, community of Israel. Why? Because from this source, the souls of Atzilus have emanated. All souls come ultimately from Atzilus, the highest world. And of course, different souls receive goes to a different filtering, and they become lower level souls. V'nivru b'neshamas debriya. And these beings animate not creations, and the souls of Beriah have been created, and so forth. And all of them, all of the worlds, creatures and souls, being derived only from the extension of the vitality and light, which extends and streams forth from this source, which is called Shekhinah, in a manner resembling the radiance of light from the sun. That this radiance being but a ray from its source. So here the Alter Rebbe gives us a big picture, a general picture of what is the Shekhinah, that this is the place, and as the Alter Rebbe is going to continue tomorrow, how this is also connected with the fact that the Torah is also come from there. The Torah is the brain of the world. So thank you for joining. Mirz Hashem will continue tomorrow.